See, first we will discuss why do we need this? Why do we need this Spring framework? Why do we need this Spring framework? Spring framework is very popular framework as of now. Now, why we are going to need that Spring framework? We are going to get lot of features. We are going to get lot of features over Java EE. Okay, we are going to get lot of features over EE. There was a concept called EJBs. Okay, Enterprise Java Bean. There was a concept called Enterprise Java Bean. Over that technology, Spring is more suitable for enterprise application. We can able to easily develop application by using Spring related technologies instead of using EJB. Instead of using EJB, if I use Spring framework, it will be more convenient for application development. Now, basically, Spring 5 released in September 2017. Okay, Spring, the latest version, the Spring version 5. That is the version industry is going to use more frequently because that is a stable version, Spring 5. That version has been released in 2017. 2017 September. So in order to use Spring 5, in order to work with the Spring 5, what is the requirement is we need Java 8, JDK 8 or higher. JDK 8 or higher. JDK 8 is required. JDK 8 or higher version. Okay. Please mute yourself, Venkatesh. Then what are the features we are getting through Spring 5? Now they have added programming framework, reactive programming framework called Spring Web Flux. Now, why do we need this Spring? To simplify Java enterprise development. Now, it is a lightweight. Okay, you can able to consider EJB is the heavyweight and Spring framework is the lightweight. To simplify Java enterprise development. By using core Java itself, we cannot able to develop complex Java applications, complex business applications. We cannot able to develop. We want to use. We want to use. In nowadays, whatever you do, that will be directly or indirectly will be directly or indirectly. We are going to do something about web in an application directly or indirectly. We are going to do something with respect to web. See, all the applications will be interacting in the internet. All the applications. What happens if applications are interacting with the internet? We'll get more accessibility. Anywhere we can able to access. From anywhere we can able to access. No applications without internet support. If internet support is there, more accessibility will get. Now, in case of Spring framework, it is lightweight. Okay, with the Java Pojo class. There is a concept called Pojo class. So What is Pojo in the sense? Something it is, what is that? JSON object, something like it will come. Pojo. Pojo is, yeah, it is not JSON object. Instead, it is plain old Java object. Pojo in the sense plain old Java object. Plain old Java object. Loose coupling via dependency injection. You'll come to know what is loose coupling, what is tight coupling. Loose coupling via dependency injection. Now we have the AOP. AOP. Aspect-oriented programming. Aspect-oriented programming, giving the application wide variety of services to the given object. And we can also minimize the Java boilerplate code. That means the default code we can able to avoid. To build one application, okay, to build one application, we need a lot of configuration files. Those configurations will be done by the Spring itself initially. If I use the Spring framework, what happens? Spring framework will give us the boilerplate code, ready-made code initially. Now all the configurations will be there. We can able to start our business logic. All the whatever the necessary files, configurations files are there. It is going to give all the configuration file as one project. Okay, that is what we are calling boilerplate code. From then onwards, we can able to build our business logic. We don't want to worry about the all configurations. Configuration, all those things will be done by the Spring itself. Then we can able to focus on our business application. We can able to focus our attention on business application without worrying about configuration. Now, setting up the development environment, we must have installed Java JDK. We must have installed Java JDK in our system. If I'm using Spring 5, compulsory I should use Java 8 and higher version. If you are using lower version, it is not compatible with Spring Framework 5. So we should be having Java JDK 8 or higher version installed. You know how to download and install Java JDK. After that, after installing and after setting the path, we need a Java application server. Okay, Java application server. Why do we need this Java application server? For application development. For application development, sorry, here at the end, for application development only we are going to use the server, but the server part comes after we finish the project. To run that project, we are going to use the server. For checking, as of now, for checking our application, we need one application server. Application server will be used in web development. Okay. Application server will be used in web development. Now, what is the application server we are going to use here is Tomcat. Tomcat we are going to use here. Application server, and we need one IDE. You can able to use this Eclipse IDE, or you can able to use IntelliJ IDE. That also fine. Now we'll see how to download and install Tomcat. Observe. First, we need to go to www.apache.org/downloads. Apache Tomcat. Okay, Apache Tomcat.org/downloads. www.apachetomcat.org/downloads. Apache Tomcat. Tomcat.apache.org. We need to find out the proper web address. Tomcat.apache.org. Tomcat.apache.org. This is also not working. Tomcat. Tomcat.apache.org. Tomcat.apache.org/downloads. Here we need to include what? HTTP. Let's say HTTPS tomcat.apache.org. We'll go to this website only. Okay, if I want to go to downloads, here itself is download option is there. Download option. Apache Tomcat is the application server for web development. Now we are going to download Tomcat 9. Okay, Tomcat 9. Going to download. Click on Tomcat 9. Then there will be binary distributions. Binary distributions. Under core, last option is there, 32-bit or 64-bit Windows Service Installer. Click on that. Installation will be starting. Installation is completed. Double click on the installed file. Otherwise, just execute. Just click on this downloaded file. Installation will be starting. This is the first window we are getting. First window. Click on next. Click on I agree. Okay. Then just click on next here. Server shutdown port. Here remove the minus. Okay, let it be one only, but remove the minus. Then 8080. What happens here? Carefully observe. If you are using Oracle database, that also will be using this 8080. Go for any other port number, it doesn't matter. Something like 9090. Windows service name, let it be Tomcat 9 itself. Then username and password you can skip, no issues. Click on next. Now Tomcat is developed by using Java language itself. Tomcat is developed by using Java language itself. To run Tomcat software, we need the JRE, Java Runtime Environment. That is what it is going to ask. That is what it is asking now. Where is JRE installed? Okay, so that Tomcat can be run. Now click on next. Automatically it is going to select this JRE. If not, you can able to select this 3 dots. Then you can go to the installation folder of JRE. You need to select that path, JRE path. Click on next. By default, it's going to install in the C drive. I don't want to install in the C drive. As usual, I'm going to install it in the D drive development software. D drive development software. Here, I'll be creating one folder called Tomcat. Tomcat 9. Okay, I have created that folder. Let me redirect this installation to the newly created folder. Click on browse, expand this PC, expand D drive, then expand development softwares. Then I have created this Tomcat 9. Select this folder, click on OK. Then click on install. It is going to install. Fine. Just give me 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes. Fine. Installation. Installation is completed. Now, as of now, don't run the Apache Tomcat. But if I want to check whether the installation is proper or not, what you can do is you can able to run it. But I'm not running here. Okay, uncheck this. Click on finish. Now click on Windows icon. Then search for Tomcat. Monitor Tomcat is there. Okay. Search for Monitor Tomcat. There click on. Simply open that Monitor Tomcat. Okay. The item referred by cannot be accessed. Okay. If you get this message, what you need to do is the solution is where we have installed this Tomcat. We need to go to that folder first. Development software Tomcat 9 is there. For the first time, we have to obtain the access for this folder. How we are going to obtain the access for this folder is by double clicking. Just we need to open this folder. We are going to grant the permission for accessing this folder. Okay, without that we cannot able to open it externally. First we need to give the access. Okay, that's what I'm telling. First we need to give the access. How we are going to give the access is simply try to open this. You will be asked like this. You don't currently have permission to access this folder. Click continue to permanently get access to this folder. So as of now, we don't have the permission to access this Tomcat 9 folder, server folder. Now what happens if we click on continue? It's like the admin is allowing us to access this folder. So we are ourselves as of now admin for this system. If I click on continue, what happens? Now we got the access for this folder. Now you can able to open that monitor Tomcat here. Monitor Tomcat. Open this. We are going to get this Apache Tomcat properties. Now click on start. The server status as of now it is stopped. Okay. Click on start. If you click on start, the server is going to start. Server is trying to start the server. Sorry, server is trying to start by itself. The status of the server is started and we are getting this stopped. Okay. Now click on OK. As of now, server is up and running. Server is started. Okay, we have started the server. How we can able to make sure that this is successful? By going http localhost colon. What is the port number we have given here while installing the Tomcat? That is 9090. Enter. Make sure that Tomcat is running. Otherwise, you don't get. If you are getting this page, no, then your installation is proper. Fine. What is the next step? We need to download Spring jar files. That I'll show you how we can able to download. We know how to install the Eclipse, right? And let me stop this server. Okay. Here in the what is this? We call this tray system icons a tray. There is an arrow symbol. Click on that. You will find this icon. This means this green symbol shows that the currently Tomcat is running. Okay, click on that. And if you click on this stop, we are trying to stop the Apache Tomcat server. Now it has stopped. The server service status is stopped. Click on OK. Then if you try to see this icon, you'll get this red mark. That means currently Tomcat is not running. Okay. Then what do we need to do? The thing is we need to connect a Tomcat to the Eclipse. Connecting Tomcat to the Eclipse. How we can able to connect a Tomcat to the Eclipse? Here what you can do is, we know how to download and use the Eclipse. Okay. You need to go to eclipse.org. There you need to download Enterprise Eclipse, not the core edition. Instead, you need to download Enterprise Java Eclipse IDE for Java EE developers, Enterprise application developers. That version you need to download. After downloading, we need to extract the content. After extracting, you'll get this icon. Okay, that icon I'm keeping it in the system this train. In the taskbar, I'm keeping that icon. Okay. Now I'm opening this Eclipse. Let me create a new workspace. Workspace is where we are going to work on our project. Now click on browse. In the F drive, AppTech folder, where is Java evening batch? Java evening. I forgot your repository name. What is your repository name, Venkatesh? 8BFSD or 10BFSD? 8BFSD, no?
Sir, it is 8, sir.
8, okay.
Yes.
Here I'm going to create one folder called Spring and Hibernate. First, we are going to talk about Spring, then Hibernate. Spring and Hibernate workstation, or Spring and Hibernate project. This is the workspace I'm creating. Or simply we can say that as of now, I'll do one thing. Spring framework, Spring and Hibernate, I'll say Spring and Hibernate. Inside that, I'm going to create another folder, Spring framework. Inside this, I'm going to create another folder called Spring demo app, like this. Spring demo app. Okay, I'm selecting this folder. Launch this folder. Click on launch. Murali, I have sent that link now. Udemy link. Have you gone through that?
No, sir. I need three links are there, right?
See,
Which one?
sorry?
Hello? Yeah, you sent three links, sir. Actually, I didn't see that. I just seen directly. Waiting.
Yeah.
I'll see later.
Okay. See, let me do one thing. See, whatever, one this Udemy course is there actually, a paid course.
Okay.
Okay. There they have explained it with very good example. In simple words.
Sir, for
Like
the IntelliJ ID, hello, is it audible, sir?
see, IntelliJ, it is just an IDE like Eclipse. Okay. IntelliJ
Any
is
big difference, sir?
just what?
Any major differences between this Eclipse and IntelliJ? You can learn it easily, or I will.
You'll get more look and feel. That's it in IntelliJ. You'll get more look and feel in IntelliJ. Nothing extra in IntelliJ.
Okay, the procedure or whatever the things are there in the Eclipse, everything is same, right?
But little, slightly different will be there. Option will be somewhere else. Okay. But
Okay, okay,
everything is same. Option will be somewhere else, but everything is same.
okay, sir.
There is nothing to worry about IntelliJ. Okay.
Okay, sir.
There is nothing to worry about IntelliJ. If possible, I can also start with IntelliJ, but everybody will be using Eclipse only.
Okay. do it as early as possible, sir. It can be more useful for us. Sir, about the application server, is there any other servers are there, sir? Apart from Tomcat?
Ah, so many servers are there, application server. For example, I've given only Tomcat.
Okay.
Other than Tomcat, we have this. What is that? So many servers we have.
Okay.
Tomcat. See, list of application servers. Majorly Tomcat. Then Glassfish also major. Okay, Glassfish, Apache
Okay.
Tomcat, and Oracle WebLogic also. And
Okay.
what else? JBoss also. Okay,
Okay.
and what else we have? WebSphere, IBM WebSphere.
Okay. Majorly using Tomcat, only, sir. Which one they are
Tomcat
using?
for majorly, big whatever the company are there. Like for most of the project, they will use Tomcat only.
Okay.
Who is that? Venkatesh and Devraj. Devraj, you know how to work with
Yes,
Eclipse?
yes, sir. I
Eclipse
know.
I have worked, sir.
Venkatesh, you know, right? How to work with Eclipse?
Yes, sir. I know.
Yeah, I'll do one thing. One application I'll show you how to work with Eclipse. Then we'll move on to ID this IntelliJ also. I'll show
Okay, sir. Okay.
how we can able to work in that also.
Yes, sir. That's good.
Because some
Okay.
companies
Okay.
will ask IntelliJ. Okay,
Okay, sir.
nothing is there. I know some options are different. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
See here, welcome page we will get. Close this welcome page. Now the first thing what we need to do is connecting this Eclipse to the Tomcat. Click on servers. There is a tab servers. Assume you are not getting this tab servers. What we need to do initially, Spring, okay, Eclipse, um, fine, fine. See here, while we open the Eclipse, we are going to create the project. How we are going to create the project? Click on File, New, Java Project. Click on File, New, Java Project. As of now, File, New. While we are when we open the first time this workspace, it won't show us this Java project. Instead, it is going to show project. Once you create one project, one Java project, after it will show Java project here. In the beginning, we are going to select project only. Then select a Java project. Click on next. Project and name. Okay, I'll go with demo spring or spring demo. I have given it for this workspace also. Let me go with the spring demo app itself. Spring demo app like this. Now Java SE standard edition 15 selected. Just to make sure that everything is fine at the end also, what I'll do is I'll scroll down, I'll select Java SE 1.8. Now the default compiler compliance level for the current workspace is 15. The new project will use the project specific compiler. That means if I create another project, it is going to use 1.8 itself. I need to change it. In my system, I have installed 1.8 itself. That is why I'm choosing 1.8 itself. Okay. What happens here? If you are using some of the syntaxes that are not available in 1.8, if you are using the syntaxes that are available in 15, then that might be the issue. But as of now, we are good, no issues. Just select Java Standard Edition 1.8. Earlier it was 15 by default. Okay, maximum. The Eclipse is supporting Java as 15, but the latest edition is 16. So we'll go for Java SE 1.8. That is the version I have installed in my system. Okay. Then click on finish. That's it. It will show like this. You want to open the perspective. What is the perspective? Java perspective, where we can able to get all the tools and features related to Java project development. So click on this remember my decision. Click on open perspective. Fine. Now there is no server tab here. Let me expand this. There is no server tab. What I'll do to get that server tab, click on window, show view. There is I need to search for server here. Okay. Search is there. Oh, then click on other. And general. Server. Type server. Select this. Now, no servers are available. Click this link to create a new server. Click on this. There is a folder called Apache. Expand this folder. Select whichever the version you have installed. Tomcat 9.0. Click on next. Now Tomcat installation directory it is going to ask. Click on browse. Click on browse. Then where is Tomcat is installed? In the D drive. In the D drive, development softwares and Tomcat 9. Select that folder. Click on finish. That's it. Now server is there. What do we need to do next? Let me start this server. What happens? How to start the server? Come to the servers tab. right click on this server that we have created. As of now it is stopped. Click on start. Right click, then go for start. Console. Server startup in milliseconds. Okay. Fine. Let me go to the browser here. Actually, we are not getting this browser point. Window, show view, then other browser, internal web browser, HTTP, localhost 9090. Not found. Resource is not available as of now. Once we create some file, okay, then we can able to run this. Then we can able to run this application, and there we will get the output. As of now, there is no resource. Otherwise, what you can do is click on start. Okay. It has been started. Come to the browser. Now refresh. Not found we are getting. Actually. Tomcat. Start. Okay. ID. Then 7 dollars. Compiler. I'm deleting this. First I'll just stop the Tomcat server. Okay. I'm going to delete these two things. Delete. File, new. Now it is showing Java project. If I click on project, now what kind of project we are going to develop? Actually, the thing here, while you are working with Spring, you need to select Maven project. But as of now, for the demo purpose, we are going for Java project itself. Java project. See, it is there. Use object specific. It is not coming. Spring demo app. Actually, we're selecting. If I go for web project, it will come. Web, dynamic web project. But this one is not we are trying to do as of now. Straight away, a new project. If I go for Maven project, click on next. What you are going to get? One thing. Let's. I'm deleting this server. Okay. Fine. Once again, I'm going for servers. No servers are available as of now. Click on this link. Now select Apache Tomcat. Under Apache, you need to select Apache Tomcat 9.0. Then click on next. Just click on finish. Okay. Fine. Now right click on this and start. Start the server. As of now, I don't have any project, but we have just created the server. Okay. Now let me check. Still we are getting the same thing. 9090. Project. Source is not there. Okay. Fine. Um, I'm, s- I'm stopping this server. Stopping this server. Externally, I'm opening the server. Externally, I'm starting the server. Now, now go to localhost 9090. Give me a minute, guys. See, externally we can open, but internally, why it is not opening? Um, the thing is, there is no resource to execute. There is no resource to execute. See what we have
Sir,
lagged here. Tell me.
sir, can we download third-party libraries and execute here?
Can we download third party?
Third-party APIs, I mean jar files.
Third party API in the sense what third party API you want?
No, third-party, I mean jar files can we download and execute in this? Or else how
Ah,
it is? I'm not.
that's what. First, here
Okay,
we are going to create one project. Okay, if I create
okay,
the
sir.
project,
Okay,
what happens? I'm going to create one folder. Okay, there I'll be keeping jar files, Spring jar files.
oh, okay, sir. Okay.
See, here what we have seen here, that is um, installing Tomcat, downloading and installing Tomcat, and connecting Tomcat, connecting Eclipse to the Tomcat.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Just connecting Eclipse to the Tomcat. Okay, that
Okay.
all we have seen. But when we are going to run, there should be a resource to run. There is no resource as of now.
Okay.
I have not created the project itself. That's why there is no
Okay.
resource
Okay.
to run. There is no resource to run. That's why it is not showing anything. See, one more thing
Okay.
here. For your batch actually, Devraj wants project, right? At the end, you need this. You want project or what, Devraj? You want project? Huh?
Yes, sir. So on project also.
Um, yeah, we can develop one project based on this. No
Okay.
issues. And actually, there is a better example for the previous batches. What I have done is whatever I have the Spring Boot, Spring, whatever I was been doing That only, like for previous batches I did not made any changes, but you for your batch I'm making some change and trying to teach you with a different example.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Actually, I found the one resource that is actually very good. You'll get with see in you can go to that later. I'll share you my YouTube channel. There you can find. But as of now, I'll do one thing. Um, See, there is no issue, right? If I teach you from the course, actually they have the better example.
No problem, sir.
Actually, if I do the the notes, and if I prepare the notes, and if I do know it definitely it is going to take a lot of time. Think it as a we are working in a project, something like that. Like each and everything I'll explain, and I'll also explain how to work with IntelliJ as well. Actually, the course is built on Eclipse. Will work with the IntelliJ as well. See, I have bought this course. Udemy. See why I'm doing this in the sense for the complete um, full stack course. We need the basic concepts of Spring framework. But in your case, you are going with experience, right? You are applying for the job with some experience.
Yes,
That's why I'm
yes, sir.
trying to do more things. Okay, if I simply explain it in one or two classes, it's not if you got experience, no, they'll ask, definitely they're going to ask about Spring. Definitely they're going to ask about Spring. So that's why you need to know more concepts. That's why I'm doing this one. Otherwise, I would have done two classes of Spring course. Where is that? All courses. I was working on this back then. Nowadays, I was not working on this. Means here totally we have, see how many hours of totally 42 hours is there. That is about 20 classes. Okay, 20 or 21 class. 21 classes. See, course introduction, Spring overview, all these things. If you want me to explain that also, I'll explain step by step. This Why do we need this Spring framework? From there we'll learn. Okay. So till what time you can attend? Till what time you can able to attend?
8:30.
8:30. 8:30 now. Observe this one.
Hey, in this video, we're going to find out why should we use Spring. So Spring in a nutshell, basically Spring is a very popular framework for building enterprise Java applications. When Spring first came out, it was initially a simpler, lightweight alternative to J2EE. They basically give you a large number of helper classes to make enterprise development easier.
See, earlier they were using J2EE. That means they were using EJBs, Enterprise Java Beans. Compared to Spring Framework, EJB is a heavyweight. EJB is heavyweight, but Spring is lightweight, simple and lightweight.
But now you may wonder, well, what about J2EE or Java EE? And here they have client-side presentation. They talk about server-side presentation with JSP, servlets, XML, and web services. They also discuss the idea of server-side business logic using enterprise Java Beans, web services, and so on, and all talking to a back-end database. And this all looks really good on paper, and as the developers, we were very excited when we saw this, viewing it on paper. But what happened is that when we actually got into the implementation details, it was another story, and I'll talk more about that in a second.
So here, this is the usual application development back then, before Spring application, J2EE. So here, different layers we have. Okay, these are the layers, application development layers. Client side, that is presentation layer. Client side and server side presentation layers. We have this business logic, server side business logic. This is the database layer. It was like this back then, before Spring. After that, what happens?
All right, so how did J2EE grow up? Well, in the early days, it started out really nice. You had servlets, JSPs back in.
See, when it came, Java 2EE, that means Java 2 Enterprise Edition. Java 2 Enterprise Edition 1.2. What they have introduced is servlets, JSP, EJB, JMS, RMI. All these are Java technologies. In 1999 itself, they have released. Okay. Then
in 1999. You also had enterprise Java Beans, Java Message Service, and RMI Remote Method Invocation. And then over the years, they added more support for EJB with 1.3. They added in J2E 1.4, they added web services. And Java EE5, they kind of renamed it a bit, so it's Java Enterprise Edition 5. They dropped the J2EE thing. And they added some ease of use for EJB3, JPA, JSF, JAXB, and JAX WS for web services. And then with EE6, again, they pruned, meaning they got rid of some stuff that didn't work, mainly some of the EJB problems. And also, they made it easier to use, so on and so forth. They added support for CDI, context dependency injection. And then finally, in Java EE7, they added support for JMS version 2, batch, concurrency, WebSockets, and so on. So that's kind of how J2EE grew up over time. So servlets and JSPs were like the initial popular items, and then they started adding other things along the way. Now, the one thing they added...
So what is the disadvantage of using this EJB? Okay, what is the disadvantage of using J2E? In the J2E, we have this EJB technology. Before Spring, we were using EJB. Now, what is the difficulty, complexity of using EJB? Now, early version of EJB, version 1 and version 2 are extremely complex. That means developers are finding some difficulties to develop the projects based on these versions, EJB versions. And then multiple deployment descriptors. In case of Spring, okay, in case of Spring, we have only one deployment descriptor file, XML file. But in case of EJB, there were multiple deployment descriptor files we have to create. In case of Spring, only one deployment descriptor file, that is XML file, that I'll show you. Now, then multiple interfaces and poor performance.
Along the way was enterprise Java Beans. And so EJB is like your cousin or your family member that you just don't really like because they just mess things up for everybody. So the early versions of Enterprise Java Beans, versions 1 and 2, were extremely complex to develop. You had to create these XML deployment descriptors. You had to define multiple interfaces. So like we have on this diagram here, to create a bean class, you had to have a home interface and then a component interface. And you basically had like 3 or 4 .java files just for an actual bean implementation. So just a lot of work. It was really clunky for a developer to write all of this code. It was very tedious and very error prone. But once you finally got the bean developed and deployed it, and you deployed it in production, then you were slapped with another problem: poor performance. So these entity beans, basically mappings between Java classes and database tables, just awful, slow, just terribly slow. Like we actually had to do on one deployment, we actually had to pull our code back out of the production and actually remove the
So if you don't understand anything out of this, don't worry. It is just a theory why we need the Spring framework instead of EJB. Exactly why we are going to find out while we are writing the code. This is just an introduction.
JB functionality because it slowed everything down. And so what happened over time is that a lot of developers started to continue to do J2EE, but they actually would do it without Enterprise Java Beans. And so this kind of caught on with other development teams too, and pretty much a lot of folks were doing it. So this one fellow, Rod Johnson.
See, the founder of Spring Framework is Rod Johnson. In 2005, he has developed this Spring Framework. Rod Johnson, and he has released this 2 books. Java 2EE Development without EJB, and Java Development with the Spring Framework. Now these 2 books became popular.
So he actually wrote this great book called J2e Development without EJB. Okay, so EJB was very popular at one point, then it fell out of favor. And so he pushed that out, and they also started working on the Spring Framework. And so they released another book, Java Development with the Spring Framework. So EJB was kind of like that bad cousin or that bad uncle that you just didn't want in the family.
No issues. Now why Spring Part 2?
So let's look
how release timeline. Here, this is the release timeline of Java EE. Okay. Now this is the release timeline of Spring Framework. Now the first version, they have released it in 2004. But officially, Spring Framework initial release. Spring Framework. Actually, I have noted it here. Spring Framework. Introduced. See, was first released an Apache 2.0 license, 2003. Okay. the first production release, the first production release 1.0 was released in March 2004. So you can consider the first production release is 2004. Don't worry about all those things. We don't need that, but for the knowledge, simply know. That is what you are saying in 2004.
At kind of the release timeline. So here's the timeline for J2EE or Java EE. Started off at 2003 timeframe. That's when everyone's electricity and so on. Now, when get Java EE, EJB just kind of has a bad name or a bad about Spring. You better get started on that Udemy course. You'll be able to handle either one of them.
See, nowadays, EJBs are used very rarely. Spring is more used. In a job interview, they'll ask more about Spring. Okay, nobody, as I know from my experience, nobody will ask you about EJB. Nobody till now they have asked EJB. Spring framework only they'll ask.
And the really cool thing about it is that a lot of the skills.
Fine, no issues. Then
new releases to Spring. So in September 2017, they released here is that they upgraded the minimum requirements. It's new in Spring. The version of Spring was released.
Now, when this Spring 5 released September 2017, earlier version, you can able to see it in the timeline. But here, Spring 5 we are going to use. Spring 5 is released in September 2017.
And so you may wonder, okay, well, what's new in Spring 5? Well, one item here is that they upgraded the minimum requirements of Java to Java 8. So in order to use Spring 5, you must use Java 8 or higher. They also deprecated legacy integration for some old third-party projects. So there were some
See, some of the support they have deprecated. They're deprecated in the sense they have removed the support. Deprecated in the sense the future feature will be there. Feature will be there, but it is deprecated. If somebody wants that feature, then they can use it. But that feature is deprecated. Means it is not actively supported. If somebody wants, still they can use it, but it is deprecated.
Party projects like Tiles, Velocity, Portlets, and so on, they removed support for those. Now, don't worry, it does update it, and I did take advantage of some of the newer features.
There is a concept called Spring MVC. Now, upgraded Spring MVC to use new versions of Servlet API 4.0. From the Spring MVC also we can able to work with Servlet. Okay, that also possible. Now, what happens? This whatever we have, this Spring and Hibernate now, these frameworks are built on top of this Servlet technology only. Servlet and what is this? We have JDBC Servlets now. On top of these technologies only, this Spring and Hibernate built.
API. Another item here is that they added a new reactive programming framework called Spring Webflux. Now, you may want to get more details here on the actual release notes. So what I've done here is set up a link on my website, lovetocode.official, as far as frequently asked questions. Okay. So again, we'll work on Spring because some of you may have projects at your job that are still using Spring 4, and you need to learn Spring, and you need to be able to support Spring 4, and then also possibly look at some Spring 5 stuff. But don't worry, objection, Spring AOP, Spring MVC.
So if interviewer asking what is the version you have used Spring, you need to say Spring 5 I have used. Okay, that is what we are going to use in this course. They have improved some, they have added some of the new features in Spring 5, but whatever the Spring 4 features we have, those features we have in Spring 5. Addition to that, we have more features.
See, all that's in
Spring. And what is that they have introduced is basically these 4 things. In Spring 5, But core Spring 4 features are still the same. That means in the Spring 4 also you'll get these 4 things. What is that? IOC, inversion of control and dependency injection and DI, then AOP and MVC. All these things we are going to learn in this course. Okay, you should say that I know inversion of control, dependency injection, AOP, MVC. So these are all the 4 features. If the interviewer is going to ask you what is the 4 features of Spring, okay, you should say these 4 things. These 4 mechanisms in Spring framework. This is the core concept of Spring framework. Inversion of control, dependency injection, AOP and MVC. MVC in the sense model view controller. AOP in the sense aspect oriented programming.
4, and it also works the same in Spring 5. Still the same. You're in good. I'll have videos that'll cover Spring 5, right? It's a new feature. I'll bring 4 videos. I'll give a special. This is something I can't update.
Okay, fine.
So
Next.
hey, in this video, I'm going to give you an overview of the official website for Spring.
If you want to see what is this Spring framework, you can go to this website, spring.io.
It's at spring.ing. It's like a lot during this course. So why Spring? And I covered this in the last video, but again, in a nutshell, add in video. So here, let's kind of drill down with development with Java POJOs. And POJOs mean EJBs from the early version. Make it much simpler to build as compared to the heavyweight EJBs from the early versions of J2EE. And then also we want to promote loose coupling by making use of dependency injection.
See how we are getting the loose coupling by using dependency injection. How we are going to achieve that, you'll see.
So instead of hardwiring your objects together, you simply specify the wiring via configure. Next idea is declarative programming with aspect-oriented programming, or AOP. You're given objects, minimize boilerplate job, and again, here of the Spring framework. And this
Now, what is this? Core container. Bean is simply means a Java object. Okay, nothing else. Bean in the sense simply a Java object.
here of the Spring framework, and it's kind of like the core framework. And what I'll do is I'll actually go through these various sections here and just give you a quick overview as far as what they're about. All right, so let's go ahead and start here with the core container. So the core container is like the heartthrob, the main, I guess, the main item here of Spring. So basically it manages how beans are created. It has a bean factory for creating the beans. It basically can read config files for setting properties and dependencies.
So you don't
And
get
also
anything
the
here.
context here is really the Spring container.
Just you can consider it as an introduction. What are the things we have here?
The beans in memory. And then it's SPEL, that's for the Spring expression language. So it's a little language we can use with Nutshell. It allows you to create these application-wide services like logging, security, transacting JDBC classes. You can actually reduce your source code by over 50%. So a lot of good helper classes there. The next little bullet there is ORM for object to relational mapping. This is probably the most popular section of this.
See here, in the interview they'll ask what is ORM? Object to relational mapping. This is a concept of Hibernate. Okay. How we are going to use the Hibernate, that also we'll see. Okay. Then first we need to get into the coding. Otherwise you don't get the theory.
JMS for Java Message Service allows you to
What do we
send
have
messages
here?
to a
Nothing.
message queue
Just a theory.
in an asynchronous. Hey, in this video, we're going to discuss Spring projects. Think of them as simply add-ons. You only use.
Then what do we have here? Spring.io. So here, if you go to this spring.io, you'll find this projects that is related to Spring. Spring Cloud, Spring Data, Spring Security, all those things we have.
Click on it and go and get more details. But here they simply give you a nice little 1-line or 2-line blurb as far as what the project's about.
Nothing is there.
Hey, in this video, I'm going to give you an
setting
overview
up our development
of setting
environment.
up your development environment. Is
Okay,
that
what do we
you
need
must
here? First, we need the JDK Java Development Kit to be installed. We know how to download and install Java.
have the Java Development Kit installed. That's the JDK, not the JRE, but the JDK.
And also we know that Spring 5 version 5 requires Java 8 or higher version, not the lower version.
Now, in regards to the required software to build,
In case of IDE, you can able to go for Eclipse or IntelliJ. In this course, they are going to use Eclipse. We'll see both Eclipse also, IntelliJ also. Now Java application server for web development, we are going to use Apache, and we have seen what are the other application developers we have: WebLogic, WebSphere.
these web applications, you need to have the following. You need to have a Java app server and an IDE.
So we are using Tomcat for the application server and Eclipse for the IDE.
Now, what I'll do is I'll actually break these videos up. So I'll have a separate.
Fine. Next, installing Tomcat. We have seen that how to install the Tomcat in Windows. We need to go to.
In this video, we'll install Tomcat on Microsoft Windows. Now, one thing that I want to point out here, and this is regarding the
And in case of Tomcat version, we need to use Tomcat 9. Okay, Spring 5 is not going to support Apache Tomcat 10. It is going to support only 9.
Tomcat version. So there was a recent version of Tomcat that was released to support Jakarta EE9. With this release of supporting Jakarta EE9.star. Now, the kernel Spring 5 does
So, Spring 5 currently does not support the new packages renaming Jakarta ET99. That means, as a result, see, don't worry about all these things. As a result, Spring 5 does not currently work on Tomcat 10. If you are using Spring 5 now, compulsory you need to download and install the previous version. That is earlier to 10. You can use 9.
not currently work on Spring 5 applications.
So we are going to use Tomcat 9 for this course, Spring 5. Spring 5 applications, we are going to use Tomcat 9.
Spring team is aware of this and it's in his course, Cat 9. All right, I'm going to visit Tomcat.
So we know how to go download the Tomcat. We need to go to tomcat.apache.org. Then
.apache.org.
on the left side, you'll get the downloads.
And so this will take me to the Tomcat website. Over on the left
We need to select this Tomcat 9.
hand side is a download section where we can actually download some of the software. I'll move down to the section for binary distributions.
So under the
I'll
binary
choose this
distributions, we
32
have this core. Under core, you have this 32-bit or 64-bit Windows Service Installer. Click on that. The download will be starting.
64-bit Windows Service Installer.
Okay. Then double click on this downloaded file. Installation will be starting. Now click on next. Then click on I agree. Then leave it everything default. Okay. We don't need to change anything. So here, if you say full, what happens? Everything will be installed. We can just go for normal also. It doesn't matter. Okay. If you go full, what happens? Everything will be installed. Everything.
Hit next. By default, Tomcat listens on port.
See, server shutdown port, usually you'll get -1. You need to remove that minus. Then connector port. If you are using Oracle database, don't go for 8080. Go for any other port. 9090, something like that. Or 8181. That is also fine. No issues.
8080. Feel free to change that. I'd
And don't give the username and password. Okay. Simply you can able to click on
like to
next.
keep the defaults. And then you can set up a administrator login. So for now, I'll just say admin. Again, you can give any.
In your case, don't give any username or password. We don't need that username or password. Okay, otherwise every time we need to enter the password that we don't want. Now it is going to ask for JRE, where JRE is installed in our system. That path we are going to select. Okay, so what he's doing is he is using JRE 9. JDK 9 he has installed actually, and that's why he is getting JRE 9. The version he is using is JDK 9. That's why he's getting JRE 9. In our case, we are using JDK 8. It doesn't matter. You can use any version after JDK 8. Compulsory you need to use JDK 8. Otherwise, you can able to go for higher than JDK 8. And the default folder to install the Tomcat. So I'm going with the different drive, that is D drive. And click on install. Okay, it is going to install. Then if you choose to run the Apache Tomcat, server will be starting. To check whether installation is proper or not, you need to go to web browser and type HTTP localhost. In our case, we are going to give 9090, not 8080. 8080 is already occupied by Oracle. That's why. So if you go to that location, if you are getting this page, okay, then your installation is proper. But if you are getting 404, no, then something is wrong. Your installation is wrong. Means port number is different or something like that. You should get this page, and you'll find the version here. What is the Tomcat version has been installed? If you are seeing this, you have successfully installed Tomcat. So here, after starting the server, what you'll get one icon. Now what happens here? If you double click on that, monitor Tomcat will open. There is another option. Simply you can right click and click on configure. That also possible. See here. If I go to here and right click, I'll get this configure. If I click on this and I can able to go to this monitor Tomcat properties, Apache Tomcat properties, I'm stopping this. As of now it is started, I'm stopping this. And click on OK after that. If already started, you'll get the stop. Okay. Click on OK here. Now observe, it is stopped. If you right click, you'll get the option for starting the service. After starting, if you right click, you'll get the option for stop service. You don't need to go to this configure. Okay, fine. Then what do we have?
So just like any standard service, you can just right click, you can list it as a service.
See, sometimes what happens, this port has been used by some other application. Here we are going to allocate it for Tomcat, some port. Okay, if you want to stop the service, this is not only the option. Okay, this is not the only option. We have another option also. Another option, how we can able to go here, go to this PC or my PC here, this PC, then right click, go for manage. Here this PC, then go for manage. My system is a bit slow. Sorry for that. Now here, on the left side, services and applications. Expand this. Double click on services. Now we'll get list of services. Among them, Tomcat will be there. Go for Apache Tomcat. Where is that? Here. Apache Tomcat. Double click on it. As of now, it is stopped. You can start from here also, no issues. Now it is started. Click on OK. Now if you come to this icon tray, you can able to see that as of now it is started. The same output you will get. This, where is that? If you go to localhost 9090, the server is up and running. The version we are using Tomcat 9. Now if you stop the server, now right click and stop. Otherwise double click. As of now it is running, click on stop. It is going to stop the server. Click on OK. Now if you refresh the page, you'll get error 404. Currently the application is not running. You'll get like this, not 404. Instead you'll get this one. This site cannot be reached, something like that. Because as of now server is not running.
So I'll go ahead and click on services here. To description, at the bottom it should click on the little Tomcat icon in the bottom right and say right configuration window for Tomcat. So you can change like the display name for the service. You can change the actual description. At the bottom it shows you the status, if it's running or stopped. Just go ahead and keep everything as. Another nice thing is that you can actually administer Tomcat via the services control panel. Click on can be load Tomcat and install it.
Now installing Eclipse, we know that, no issues. Then connecting Eclipse to the Tomcat or vice versa, connecting Tomcat to the Eclipse.
For us to deploy our web applications directly to Tomcat. Hey, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to connect Eclipse and Tomcat. Now, the main benefit is that we can
see, in case if you are using the Tomcat in the Eclipse, what happens? You can able to monitor the Tomcat from the Eclipse itself. You can able to stop the service from the Eclipse itself. And we can able to easily deploy our application directly to the Tomcat from the Eclipse itself. That is the advantage we are going to get if we are using Tomcat internally in the Eclipse.
Start Tomcat from Eclipse. Up Tomcat. Click on that tab.
Now,
move down to the bottom section.
See, for example, here, directly what he has done is.
All right, you can start Tomcat from Eclipse. Also, it'll make it very easy for us to deploy our web applications directly to Tomcat. All right, so let's go ahead and move into Eclipse. What I'd like to do is move down to the bottom section. There's a tab called Server.
See, simply, here we have this Eclipse. Now, as of now, what I'll do, I'll change the workspace. Switch workspace. If you want to change the workspace, click on File, Switch workspace, click on Other. Then here click on Browse. I'll go with something like Projects. This is my new workspace, projects. This one I'm going to select, projects, launch. Now this workspace will be closed. So here, what is doing, simply is going to the server set tab. Okay, observe, let us first see.
I'd like to click on that tab. Now at this point, we don't have any servers associated with our Eclipse environment at the time. So what we need to do is click on this link and we're going to add a new server. We're going to add a new server that points to our Tomcat that we installed previously. All right, so here's the defined new server. What I need to do is move up to the Apache Tomcat folder and expand it. Now what I'd like to do is go ahead and click the next button here on the screen. And then at this point, I need to browse and tell Eclipse where Tomcat is installed. All right, so wherever you have Tomcat installed, you need to point to that directory. I'm going to make use of the default directory where Tomcat is installed. It's under Program Files, Apache Software, Tomcat 8. So this is the actual default directory where Tomcat was installed. All right, great. So once I have that selected, I'll go ahead and click on OK. And so it should give us the full path there for the Tomcat installation directory. So again, I'm just using the default. Once I'm happy with this, I'll go ahead and click on Next. This screen here just talks about some other apps. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and click on Finish. And this will associate Tomcat with the Eclipse environment. So if everything is successful, down in the bottom center, you should see a reference for Tomcat. Now at this point, it's stopped. We haven't started it yet. We'll actually start it in some of the following videos when we start creating our web applications. Okay, great. So
here, initially you're going to get this welcome window. Close this. Then what we need to do is, first I'm not going to create the project here. Okay. We have just opened our workspace by giving this project's a name. Now click on this servers tab. If you are not getting the servers tab, you can get that servers tab by using window show view. Here you can search for servers. Go for other, then type for server. We'll get these servers. Now we have this servers tab. Click on that. As of now, we don't have any servers. Now click on this link to create a new server. Click on this. Then we have this Apache folder. Expand this. Scroll down. We can find this Tomcat version 9. This one only we should select. Okay, not 10. The installed version in our system is 9 only. So I'm selecting 9. Now click on Next. Then it is going to ask me where your Tomcat got installed. Click on Browse and select where our Tomcat is installed. In my case, that is Development Software D drive. D drive, Development Softwares. Scroll down, Tomcat 9. Select that folder. click on next. If you click on next, what happens? It is going to let you deploy the application. As of now, we don't have anything. So simply we can say finish. That's it. Okay, what happens if I right click and start the server? If you go to the 9090 HTTP localhost 9090, as of now we don't have any resource to run. That's why you'll get that error, 404 error. Now to make sure that your server is running, select this server, right click and start. Now what it is showing here, starting and synchronized. So here, starting and synchronized. Successfully it is running. Okay, that is what we want as of now. Now just stop the server because there is no resource to run. Okay, we are not using we don't have any resource to run. Once we work on the project, we'll get the resources. That resources we can able to run. Now we have successfully connected.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, a resource means like the required jar files or the coding part. I don't know. I'm confused with that.
Which one?
I mean, you said resource, right? Resource means like the jar files that are required for that, or is there other coding things like the code, what are we need to implement? Which one resource means? I'm confused with that.
Come again, instance or what you're asking?
Okay. Sir, why is it clearly audible?
No, I'm not getting what you're telling. Okay. What
Okay,
is
sir.
that?
You said resources means resource, right?
Resource.
Like
Resource.
yeah.
Okay.
Currently, we don't have any resources. So my question is, resource means like the jar files that are required, or any other things like.
No, resource in the sense I'm not talking about jar files. Resource in the sense here in the project we will be having HTML file. Okay, that HTML file I'm calling it as resource. Okay. That HTML I'm calling it as resource. Now this whatever said jar files, no, that is a dependency files. To run the application, we need that jar files. Okay. To run the application, we need that jar files. That is dependency for the application. Now here resource means this HTML file. Yeah.
Yes, sir, got it.
Yeah. In a servlet, in servlet and JSP, we've seen that while we are starting the server, we have the resources, HTML file, JSP file. All these are resources only. HTML, JSP file, CSS file, JavaScript file. All these are resources. Consider the resource in the HTML file, for example. Yeah. Then, how to download the jar files? To work with this Spring, we need to download this Spring jar files. Okay, how to download that we will see.
In this video, we're going to learn how to download Spring jar files. So I always like to use a to-do list. So the first thing we're going to do is create an Eclipse project. Then we'll download the Spring jar files. And then we'll learn how to add all of these jar files to our Eclipse project. And in particular, I'll show you how to set up your build path in Eclipse with all of these jar files. And we'll cover everything step by step. Now, you may be wondering, what about Maven? So instead of manually downloading, we could make use of it.
So actually, by using Maven also, we can able to create the Spring project. But here, see, there is a website called start.spring.io. That is the easiest version. That is the easiest way to create a Spring project. But here, initially, we are not going to use Maven. Okay. Here, normal way of developing, we are seeing.
Tool like Maven. So I'll say, if you're a Maven expert, go ahead and get started using Maven. However, in this class, the main focus is on Spring. I don't want to introduce too many new technologies all at once, but I'll cover Maven at the end of the course. But our main goal here, our main focus is on Spring. So we'll focus on Spring, we'll learn how Spring works, and then we'll get all fancy and we'll add Maven at the end of the course. But again, keep calm, focus on your goals.
So, shall I continue or shall we do it on next class? If you want me to continue, I'll continue till maybe I have the time. You want me to continue?
Sir, next class, sir.
Yeah, do one thing. I'll share you my YouTube, whatever the thing is there. My YouTube channel, you know, right?
Yes,
I
sir.
was
I subscribed also.
Yeah, do one thing. There we have this Spring Hibernate tutorial playlist. Just go through static videos. Okay, just installation. Make sure that you have installed everything properly. Okay, that much. Later we'll continue. Maybe if tomorrow is possible, tomorrow also I'll take. If you are free, you guys are free tomorrow.
So I'm free, sir.
I have office tomorrow also, sir. I'll let you know tomorrow.
Murali can attend.
Yes, sir,
Murali?
I can attend. Yeah. I'm free,
Okay,
sir.
no
I'm free.
issues. Devraj, at what time you have the
Yeah.
class? What time you have the office?
Sir, till 6 I have office. After that, I can.
Okay, no issues. Like at in the afternoon, I'll let you know. Okay,
Okay.
can I able to take the class or not? Fine, we'll continue that, and please make sure that you have installed all these things. Go to my YouTube channel. Please follow that, and we'll continue in the next class. Fine.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Bye.
sir. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Good night.
Thank you, sir.